And if you're willing to gamble on a real gun or a squirt gun at an elementary school, you are indifferent to what happens next.
It's believed to be the first case of its kind in the country.
It is day 2 of a $40 million lawsuit against a former assistant principal.
Parker is facing 8 counts of child neglect, 1 for each of the bullets in the gun that the 6-year-old boy pulled on his teacher, Abby Zwerner.
We're ready for the fight at whatever level and whatever courtroom that we have to take it.
All this talk about we didn't think it was a real threat. It wasn't a credible threat. Why are you agreeing with Ms. Kovac to search the bag if you don't think it's real?
And then I went and reported, and I can't help what somebody else did not do.
Everyone knows this case is going to the verdict.
We, the jury, on the issues joined, find in favor of the plaintiff, Abigail Zwerner, and assess her damages at $10 million.
January. So on Friday we have the hearing in the Abigail Zwerner case. The Zwerner case is the one in which Abby Zwerner was the teacher at Rich Neck Elementary who was shot by her 6-year-old student. And obviously national news for those who have been able to see it. But the issue on Friday is an important issue because it's the hearing where the school board is arguing that Abby's case should be dismissed because she should not be allowed to recover anything from a lawsuit. She should only be able to file for a claim for workers' compensation. Workers' compensation is pennies on the dollar.
The first major hurdle in this case was overcoming what is known as the workers' comp bar, which as a rule prevents employees from suing their employers. In this case, the school board had tried to stop Abby from bringing her lawsuit based on this rule. Kevin and his team would have to argue in front of a judge that this rule should not apply and that Abby should be allowed to move forward with her case.
There is a limitation to workers' compensation, which is that it shouldn't apply to risks or dangers that aren't actually part of your job. And the school board, in our view, is stretching it and trying to say, well, being assaulted, and in this case being shot by a 6-year-old as a first grade teacher, is an actual risk of every first grade teacher's job. So that's the issue that's going to be argued on Friday.
How do you believe that'll be decided?
I think we'll win.
All new tonight, the attorneys for Abby Zwerner have confirmed the Virginia Appellate Court dismissed the Newport News Public Schools' latest appeal in that case. A judge ruled Zwerner could proceed with her $40 million lawsuit under claims of negligence, saying the case was not a matter for workers' compensation.
A few months later, on March 11th, 2024, a special grand jury released its decision to indict the assistant principal, Dr. Ebony Parker, on criminal charges.
The former assistant principal faces child abuse charges.
While this decision had to do with the criminal case, not the $40 million civil case, it still shed light on the gross negligence committed by Dr. Parker.
Now, the grand jury report says that the assistant principal, Dr. Ebony Parker, ignored several warnings that the child had a gun.
Yeah, the report also says that Parker closed her office door when she learned about the shooting inside her school.
Abby Zwerner's attorneys are responding to this latest report saying, quote, the grand jury report reveals a systemic failure that led to the shooting of Abby Zwerner.
When I review the report, the way that I see it is that everybody did their job except for at the administration level. Everybody did their job. They reported it. They said what they were supposed to say. They told who they were supposed to tell. And importantly, there was one person who was the aggregate of information. There was one person that stood above it all and knew and heard and should have seen everything coming, but chose to continue to look at her monitor or to do some other act other than, as Diane pointed out, doing something to actually take action to prevent this from occurring.
At this point, the Newport News School Board and Dr. Ebony Parker could have chosen to take responsibility, admit liability, and tried to reach a settlement out of court. They did not. So in December 2025, jury selection began in preparation for trial for Abby Zwerner's $40 million lawsuit.
I intentionally removed myself from a lot of settlement negotiations on significant cases. I prefer to be able to be one-track minded as I prepare a case for trial. People throw mud at me, they still do, and I was probably the youngest trial lawyer in that room. But if I'm really good at what I do, and if I focus on the craft and the skills and the tactics, then I don't have to worry about the noise around me.
A gun changes everything. A gun changes everything. You stop and you investigate. You get to the bottom of it. You get to the bottom of that backpack. You get to the bottom of his pockets. Whatever it is, you get to the bottom of it to know whether that gun is real and on campus so you can deal with it.
I mean, if we want to just go statistically, how many 6-year-olds have you seen walking around with a gun versus how many 17-year-olds have you heard having a firearm?
If you want to talk statistically, we can talk about the CDC's investigation into accidental shootings in elementary school students in 2023. Did you review that finding of the CDC? You know, as Winston Churchill says, you've got to fight it on the beaches, if you got to fight it in the air, if you got to fight it in the sea, you just got to fight it. Yeah. And then you got to find a way to win at the end of it.
The only reason they're able to point that finger of doubt at every single person in this school, except for Dr. Parker, is that Dr. Parker sat on her hands. At 12:21 p.m., if Dr. Parker was doing her job, she would have walked into that room, grabbed that book bag, and none of these questions would have ever been asked ever again.
We, the jury, on the issues joined, find in favor of the plaintiff, Abigail Zwerner, and assess her damages at $10 million. The award interest beginning on June 1st, 2024.
It's also a really gratifying experience as a lawyer to think, okay, we've actually charted a new path for people to potentially recover in circumstances like this.
I think we have to acknowledge within our civil justice system that accountability comes from anyone who contributed to the ultimate outcome. And some of these things are foreseeable, and if we can take the appropriate measures to prevent them, then we can save lives, and we can save lives from being harmed.